This is Joe Peters with MomFit with Joe Peters. Welcome to the Spanglish World Network and the Her Network on the Single TV channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download the Single TV app in the respective app stores, iOS and Android devices. While you are downloading, make sure that you leave a comment. The app is Single TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV, Roku, and Roku Stick in all smart TVs since 2016. Today we are going to be going. I feel like I say this very often, but today this topic is very close to my heart. I'm super excited to have here Meagan Ducan with me, and I will tell you a little bit about Meagan and why I'm excited about this. Meagan is an expert on many topics about motherhood, and the one that we're going to be talking about today is sign language. And I love it because I've been seeing the magic that bring to my family and to my life and to my baby. So Meagan is an inspiring early child educator and parenting coach. She's a devoted foster and bio mom and the founder of Connected Kids Thrive community. For over 16 years, she has been helping parents equip themselves with proven effective parenting tools so their young children can listen, cooperate without resorting into yelling and tantrums, threatening or punishment. She strives to live by the model, the philosophy of being curious and actively turning oopsies into opportunities. So parents can possibly connect with their children, even given direction and correction. So Meagan, it is a pleasure to have you here. And let's gonna start a little bit about sharing your story of 16 years ago, why you decide to do this and how you find sign language and fall in love with sign language to start helping moms and dads around the world.
Okay, thank you for the warm welcome. So excited to be here. So, yeah, my background education is in speech therapy, and I really fell in love with the deaf community. And I was going to, get an associate's degree in sign language, but then I got pregnant in college with my husband. So my education kind of stopped there, as happens to so many moms. But I learned so much in the sign world that I did give that gift to my baby, and at 6 months old, she could request her favorite book. She would go, "Rawr," her lion book, and she could say dog. She could tell me, and she could actively access vocabulary and tell me what she needed, what she wanted. And it was just so beautiful. So I taught Babysign at a local library. I did it the wrong way first, which is amazing because then I knew how to do it the right way. And I'll share a little bit more about that later because it's super important. And then my husband got laid off. So I had to open a preschool childcare in my home. So I had 6, 3, and 4-year-olds in my house, and talk about crazy bananas. So then I really needed to figure out how to communicate with these guys, with these little kids, to get them to want to cooperate with me and with each other. So I did a lot of research. I took my neurology background in communication and speech therapy with what I knew with sign, and we had such a sweet little school. We cooked together every day. The kiddos would use sign with each other. It was just a super sweet environment. Then I went into early intervention, and I helped families with kiddos 0 to 3 that the kiddos had communication delays or disorders. So I helped them learn what to say and how to say it so their kiddos could converse with them, could talk to them, could communicate with them. So it was so beautiful there. And now I'm a parenting coach. I'm a foster mom, and I was asked to create, materials for regular everyday moms and parents because of what I've done in my background. So there's no age too young or too old to start. Obviously, little bitties, it's so powerful starting day one or whenever. But anytime I get a foster kiddo into my home, we implement silent cues with them because it just hits them in a different way, that nonverbal communication. my foster son's favorite sign right now is responsible, because, and yes, and it's, and I can, thinking about behavior and behaviors that we want to repeat and how do we want to reward that. It's just so beautiful. Sign is just so beautiful no matter what age, but obviously starting with the little ones is the best place.
And I love that because I will say a little bit about my journey too. I am a little bit of like ADHD, and I know that we have something similar there, and a little bit of like type A. So,
Mhm.
like, literally, the first one of the first three books that I bought, I was in the third trimester. I remember I found out that I was pregnant in October, and then in December we went on a holiday, and one of the first book that I got was a baby sign language book and a set of flashcards. Um, and I remember in that holiday, like I didn't even have a belly yet. And then I was just flipping the cards, learning. So I learned that through my pregnancy. And I started doing that with my baby. We are going to be talking a little bit more as you start sharing. I can share my experience too. But I agree with you that giving them that opportunity to communicate even before their brain is ready to articulate words is such a gift to help them to grow up as empowered, strong, confident kids, young adults, and then adults, because then since early age they feel empowered to know what I want matters, and I can share with the people that I love what I need, what I want. So I'm completely in love with you and what you do, and this world of baby sign language. I also love how you are talking about the deaf community, because one of the things that being a Latina in North America, I'm very aware of diversity and minorities. And I know um, that we need to do this the right way and see it as a tool, while we also share with them and teach them that we are using a language that belongs to the deaf community and give that respect to them, so we don't cross the line of cultural appropriation. So I think that we're going to have a very nice talk today. um, let's gonna talk a little bit about your phrase before we dive in, because
Okay.
I love your phrase. Because one, I always ask my guests, tell me one phrase that resonates with you. And Megan's is, let's actively model turning oopsies and mistakes into opportunities so we can enhance our communication, our cooperation, our connection with our children. So let's gonna talk a little bit about that, about what that means with oopsies into opportunities.
Yes. So when we think about behavior, we we always want to model behaviors that we want our kiddos to have. So if we want our kiddos to say, "Oh gosh, I'm so sorry." If we want our kiddos to say, "Oh mommy, I see that your laundry basket is full. Would you like me to take that to the washer?" Granted, those aren't up, that last one wasn't an oopsie, but if I drop an egg on the floor, if, how I model turning that into an opportunity to learn and take accountability, right? If I could say, oh man, my hands weren't very careful. That was so slippery. Oh well, I'll just clean it up versus getting mad, if I trip over the dog, instead of blaming the dog, I can actively turn that oopsie into an opportunity to be like, oh gosh, dog, I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention. And, it's so, my preschoolers did this all the time. They would take what I'm giving them, turning those oopsies into opportunities, and they took accountability for everything. It was so amazing. So our kiddos can do this, but they have to see us doing it first. If we step on a bug, if they're everything we do, they are sponges, and so we are modeling behaviors no matter what we do. So we really just want to take all the opportunities and model really amazing behaviors that we want them to imitate back.
And we are not going to go derail. I'm going to try my best. But one of the things that I love about modeling is, I was in my coaching with my moms too, is we can tell our kids 3 million times per day what we want them. We want them to be independent, to love themselves, to have self esteem. And they will never learn as easy, as fast, and as deep as when they see us behaving like that. So if I'm telling my kid, oh, you need to love yourself and put yourself self, but they are seeing me running myself to the ground or getting oopsies and getting frustrated, that is not going to help. So I love, love, love that phrase. And I think that I'm going to invite you to in another episode to talk about that part of your
Okay.
job with parenting. It's going to dive into the sign language. So
Okay.
let's, let's going to talk. I want you to share with the audience. And then we have all the spectrum. We have mom to be, new moms, and then moms of toddlers. So it's going to talk a little bit about what is baby sign. What is the concept of baby sign language? And one thing that is very important that I love to do in these cases is what it is and what is not. So
Okay.
let's start there.
All right, so let's talk about what it is not first. So it is not a hijack of, like Joe already mentioned, of American Sign Language, ASL. We can respectfully use some of the signs in ASL and honor that language. A lot of signs are simplified ASL, but that's okay. We can still, because even for speech, we need to simplify it often for our kids too. So, and deaf parents definitely simplify signs for their children. And so it's, it is not a hijack of ASL. It does honor that language. And then secondly, it's not a crutch. You know, in the speech therapy world, sometimes even speech therapists and a lot of other professionals do say that don't use sign because it'll make your kid not talk. Years and years of research prove that that's not true. There's so many children who are nonverbal and preverbal that it actually helps. And for children who are preverbal, we always want to pair it with speech, and it actually elevates and enhances their ability to talk sooner. So, myth debunked. It is not a crutch, it is a ladder. It gives access. It gives our children access to communication.
I love that. And I love the concept of that because if you are a mom that are trying to do this and or you already are using it and your child is taking a little longer to speak and then you get some of these paradigms, oh, you need to stop the sign language. One of the things, because with my boy, and we're going to talk about this later with Megan, but I speak in Spanish, my husband is speaking English, and we both speak in sign language. So my boy is 18 months and he had like almost 100 signs that he communicate, but verbally he only says like 3 words. And then we are having that push of, well, you may need to stop signing, encourage him to do the word. And one of the things that I always do, and I want to invite all of your mamas if are in a situation, is can you imagine how frustrating will be for your child to be able to communicate and for any reason, either because he's in a bilingual world that is still a little confusing what word to use, or because their muscles are not there yet to speak, how frustrating is for them to be clear in their mind that they want to communicate with you and not be able to, and how loving is to tell them you are not going to use this tool that we have that reduce that frustration, that allows you to communicate, that allows to understand each other, just because I want you to check the mark of society of you need to be saying these many words at this age. Because the concept of, and you can correct me, Megan, but the concept of the development of a speech is not about the number of words. Is about, that is a measurement to see if your baby is being able to communicate themselves with the world. So that is something that is very close to my heart because I see so many uh, teachers, daycare people, even sometimes medical people, to tell mamas to stop doing this. And yeah, your baby will eventually get forced, but what is the cost? How much frustration, how much stress, how much not useful feelings your baby is going to go through that when you take that away, or when you decide to not include it because of fear of that language delay. when, like Megan is saying, is not a proof of that. So that is fascinating, Megan. Um, let's gonna talk about how, like, now what it is. We talk about what is not, what it is, and then how part of what it is, baby sign help us to attune to our children and help us to have a closer attachment, trust, and relationship.
Okay. Okay. So baby sign is a manual way of communicating with our kids. And when we communicate with more than just speech, because honestly, most of our communication is body language, anyways. Speech is just a small component of our language. But when we can add more meaning, our children make faster connections in their brain. And the cool thing about sign is there's only about 30 muscles needed to for an adult or a child to communicate, in very intentional ways. Speech is about 100 muscles. So it does take our kiddos a long time, and for good reason, to coordinate all these 100 muscles. I actually, in college, I had to write a paper on how to say my name, Meagan, and it was 30 pages long on how to say my name because it's such a complex process. So when we can give our kiddos access to easy communication, it's just so amazing. They're active parts of their world, not just like passive recipients of information. They can tell when they want water or when they're thirsty or when they're hungry. They can tell us and we can respond. So how it helps us attune to our children. So I have a little doll here. It's my daughter's doll. And so, when we're gazing into our child's eyes, see if you can see,
Yep.
we're attuning here. When we're just locking in, we're cooing with them, we're petting them, we're attuning. But we can take that deeper when they're fussing or when they're telling us something with their little grunts. We can say, I wonder, are you feeling thirsty? Thirsty, no? Hungry? How's your belly? Are you feeling hungry? And we can just attune to a deeper level and meet their need, build that trust. And they understand earlier that when they grunt or when, we're going to tune in and really try to meet their need. So that's what I love about Babysign.
And I love that because it also, like I was saying before, help them to develop that confidence
Mm-hmm.
that their needs are so important that we are going to take the time to be curious, trying to
Mm-hmm.
understand what they need. And yeah, so, and then one of my friends is an interpreter for ASL. And one of the beautiful things that I was talking with her is it also become almost like this as the kids start growing older. It also is almost become like this secret superpower that you have with your kids. So she was telling me that in that sometimes when moms want to start teaching manners to their kids, then you always say like, say thank you, or are you going to say thank you in the supermarket in the registry? And then she was saying that she never had to do that because she only have to sign to remind her kids that cue, so she doesn't make them feel embarrassed of that, like, oh, mom just told me so I have to say it. And then also bring a lot more of meaning when they say it, because the person in the registry doesn't probably doesn't know sign language, so she very gently just do the cue, and
Yeah.
they say thank you so much, and then the kids see the cue, understand their secret superpower tool with the mom, and then the kids are like thank you, and then the person is like, oh wow, you have such a polite, educated little boy. So I love how it can grow with your family. So from being a tool to help your baby to communicate with you and you to be curious about what your baby needs, as your baby start becoming toddler and then a young kid, then it can also become that very stretched bond of you and your baby, where you can still keep using a lot of those signs um, outside whenever they are doing it. Even, for example, another one that I was thinking about is on the holidays,
Mm.
like when there is a lot of noise, when you are busy, and then there is a point that the kid's voice is not very loud, so they need to get to the point that they almost yell, and then at that point you are like, why you are yelling? Where if they just want drink water, doesn't matter how loud, how busy the house is, they can look at you and tell you one or two movements, and then you are going to immediately say like, oh wow, give me 1 second, my child needs some water. So I love uh, sign language. It's gonna talk about how much of
Can
a
I can
go
I
ahead.
mention 3 quick things,
Absolutely.
onto what you said? So, sign language can help sibling rivalry, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And just as you were saying that the family bond. So I cook with my family all the time. Cooking is such an important thing we can do with our kids to elevate their confidence and help them feel valuable and significant. But I have toddlers, I have foster kids. So when I say, "Oh, wait, show me wait. What can you do with your hand?" It gives their hands something to do and helps them be successful in waiting. So, and the other thing that's so great about sign is um, we as parents, we just dictate to our kiddos all day long, all the time. Their teachers do. They tune adults out actually over time because we're constantly telling them, get your shoes, get your water bottle, do this, do that. I mean, but when we can just actually, I asked my daughter, what sign do I use like a lot with you? And she's like, shoes. I'm like, shoes? Yes. And the reason is when I just silently do this, they're just like, oh, and I'm not telling them, hey, where are your shoes? Why'd you lose your shoes? We didn't, I just silently can give them that code and it does enhance our bond. And the reminder at the restaurant to be patient or to wait or to say thank you, it is, again, me not telling them what to do, but just a little cue to get them to do the right thing. So, love it.
I love it, and I want to go back to the sibling rivalry because we have a lot of moms around the world that had a toddler and they are expecting a newborn, or that their kids are just 1 2 years apart. So I want to go back to that, and now I want to talk a little bit about the gift to the child as early as 6 months, and how it's going to help them to access early communication and help childs to meet their needs. So the first thing is I want you to share how soon. I was telling you before we start the show, like I literally start having some of the signs with my baby almost as a newborn. Like
Yeah.
not newborn because I have a lot of issues in the first trimester, but around 2.5 months, 3 months that I was finally starting to feel myself again. And then people was like, his brain is not capable to learn that, and I was like, maybe his brain is not, but his energy is. So like every time that I put him in the breast, I was like, are you liking your milky, your
Yes.
milk? And I wanted to talk about that, is how early moms can start doing it, and then what are some of those tips for them to start preparing to do it, because also people are like, I don't have time to learn a completely full
Yeah.
language. So
Mhm.
let's gonna see how you can tell them, okay, when you can start and how is an easy way, and actually what are the ones that you can start working on, and what is the purpose of them.
Okay, so okay, as far as age, start as early as possible. Start yesterday. Start when your baby is in your belly, in utero. But start now. If you missed yesterday and in the belly, start now or start tomorrow. It's just, and you only need a few simple signs. And remember at the beginning, I said I made a mistake when I started teaching sign. What I did was I had a little baby class, all the mommies brought their babies, and I taught the ABCs. Why is that such a problem? It's not meaningful to the baby. They don't care. What we want to do is what words are constantly in our own homes. We want to think about that first. And then as our baby gets a little older, what are they looking at? Are they looking at a tree? Whoa, big tree. It's so big. And we're giving them a very big vocabulary way, way early. And then they can imitate this. They can't say it, not yet, but they can imitate this, and they might approximate like a E or a T or something, but we're bonding over that object. So don't do ABCs, don't do colors, because it's not meaningful to them unless he's so, the baby is super engrossed with the tree. Then you can say, I love how green it is. Wow, it, it's different than the blue sky. Oh my gosh, do you love that too? We can do that and pull in color. If you know green or blue, you can do that. But colors and, academics aren't meaningful to these guys. We want real language. So we want mommy and daddy and water and milk and doggy, things that are in the environment that we can repeat over and over and over. I could go on and on and on.
Absolutely. I love that. And I love that because that was something that I face myself too. Like, what are some of the words that I want to learn first? And
Mhm.
again, colors, letters. The other one is manners. So things like please or thank you. Now I use them because he's a devil, but at 3 months, 4 months, people ask me like, why you don't do that? I'm like, because right now we are trying to communicate. And if I teach him that is please milk, and then he grab this and connect that to milk, it's going to be very frustrating for him sign that,
Mhm.
and I'm not giving him milk. So the words early on, what I did, and what is what you are saying is need to be words that allow you to understand what your baby need. So the dog, that's mommy, that's daddy, eat, water. Words that when the baby does, then you are like, oh yeah. What if the baby does please? You are going to be like,
Yes.
please what? Please food, please milky, please hug. So I love how you make it very simple. So moms don't need to feel overwhelmed of, oh my God, I need to learn a full language. You need to pick only a couple of signs and then build from there.
Yes.
One thing that I want you to talk about is, when do you give up? When do you are like, yep, my baby's not signing back. This is a waste of time. I just waste all this energy and baby is not signing up. Like, is
Yeah.
there a time limit that you need to be like, yep, my baby's not picking it up?
I would say no, don't give up. Your baby needs to see you do it depending on their age and how actively they are, interested in what you're doing 100 times, 50 times, 100 times, 200 times. And again, the ultimate goal is connection. That's it. The ultimate goal is connection. Yeah, we're giving them a different way to communicate and access language. The ultimate goal is connection, and we're connecting with full body instead of just speech. When we're doing, I wonder, do you need milk? Like, it's not a waste of time. It is enhancing your communication, even if they never sign, even if you did it all through the childhood. Now, there are things we can do to help them spontaneously sign and give us, signs back. And that's by offering choices. So I'm going to put my baby doll down. We could say, do you want water or milk? Water or milk? And you want to shift to make it very clear. And when we give choices, we invite imitation. And little speech tip, offer the choice that you think they're going to be that you think they're going to be the most successful with, or the one you hope that they're going to choose. So if you hope that they want water, offer water, because that's the last thing that their brain interprets, and it's the most readily available thing to imitate.
So what you're saying is give the option that you prefer or that you want or that you think that they like, the second, the last.
Yes.
And that's a good tip, and that didn't you. I'm going to implement that one right away. One thing that I want to share with all the mamas from, because sometimes we are like, oh yeah, Megan, you are a teacher and that is what you do. So I will tell you, as a student, I start signing at 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, and I hear all this that I completely hate sometimes. All the social media, all these 6 months old babies just signing milk and mommy and daddy, and my little bag of potato was not signing anything. Like anything. And but we keep doing it, and then he starts signing around like 10 months, 11 months. And what happened after was mind blowing. Like the speed at which he started picking up sign. Like there was times that he would sign something, and we were like, "Did he really sign that?" Like we only signed that a couple of times, and didn't sign it anymore, and he still remembers. So on that one, it's almost like walking of any other one. It may take a little longer, but when they start, they start. Like I will tell you, my baby didn't sign anything until he was like 10, 11 months. And in only 7 months, he went from like 0 signs to almost 100 signs. And he fully communicates now with
Mhm.
his signs. So it's also part of that, of trusting that you are doing the right thing, trusting that it's helping your baby, and trusting that your baby, it's okay that your baby had its own speed on how
Yeah.
they want to react.
Yeah, my sister, her baby is 17 months old, and the same thing. Did not imitate, was very engaged, while her mom was doing everything, but didn't really imitate. And explosion this last month. And she's putting two words together at 17 months. She'll be dirty teeth, dirty teeth. Like she's saying two-word imitations too. Like it's not an imitation, sorry, that's spontaneous. She owns that. Oh, it's so thrilling. And she was just absorbing so much. It did take her a little bit more and more confidence to, spit it back out. But um, and that was a concern for her too. She was like, what am I doing wrong? Why is this not working? Is something wrong with my kid? Is something wrong with me? No, no, it will happen. And again, communication is just a byproduct of the connection that's happening.
I love that. The other thing that I want to talk with you is how we as a parent can um, handle two things. First one is when they are using a sign in their own way. So
Mhm.
do we start signing like they do? For example, daddy, my baby sign for daddy is this.
Mhm.
So we say that. I say like, yeah, that's daddy. And then he's signing like that. So how we do that. And then the other one on that one is how we can be curious to figure out the sign, because like Megan was saying, there is 30 muscles. So your baby seeing that you are signing water, but maybe what they are doing is this, and they think that they are doing water. So how we as parents need to be curious and concentrated into, you are making that movement a little more intentional than just randomly touching your face. You may be wanting to communicate something. Let's gonna be curious and see what do you want. Because that was something else that I learned, that there was a couple of them that my baby was signing for a while, for several weeks, before I connected and say, oh, so you want daddy, when he was tapping into his head. So we're going to talk about that part of the star signing and how we can keep encouraging and growing that part.
Okay. I get so excited. So, first of all, the way you explained it was absolutely perfect. When your kiddo does this and it's daddy, the way you said was, "Oh, you're saying daddy. Yeah, daddy." So you don't tell them, "No, it's not like this. It's like this." You just accept it, but you model it correctly. Daddy. You're saying daddy. Let's go get daddy. Let's reinforce that behavior, let's reward that behavior naturally. Something that a little tip here too, to really help with speech development is bounce the syllables. So we think in syllables in speech. So whenever you do words, bounce them in the syllables. So daddy, water, mommy, whatever it is, bounce the syllables because that helps speech come sooner rather than later also. So there's a quick tip. Does that answer that first question? So here's another little tip too. Say the word 3 to 5 times. And so whenever they do this, you're like, oh, daddy, you want daddy. Let's go get daddy. So you're reinforcing You're really helping that neural pathway become really robust, much quicker than, oh, daddy, let's go get daddy. So they're really starting to reframe what that that motor plan and all of that looks like. Does that answer that one?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then curious, I love that. If they're doing something like this and you think it's water, but you're not sure, you know, the beauty of sign and being full body involved in attuning into our kiddo is we can say, I wonder, are you saying water? And then we can be like, oh, and they're going to give us, something, some sort of reaction, no matter how old they are. And when we get it wrong, they're going to tell us too, which is so powerful for them when they know that we didn't get it right, but we're going to try again. And that embeds other behaviors of failing and trying again. And it's okay. Like it's beautiful. There is no wrong way. If you don't get it right, we can just try again. And our kids will let us know. And we're tuning into their needs.
And I love that you're explaining that, because part of that diversity and inclusion with the ASL and the deaf community is respecting the words and where the root of the word come. And then two analogies that I have with my baby. The first one was with that. We were talking about it with my friend that is ASL, and she's saying like, you don't know if in his mind he may think that this is what he's doing, even when his hand is still not doing that. So if you change to do what he's doing, he's going to get confused. He's like, I thought that was this, but now you are doing this other thing. And that makes a lot of sense, because they are actually imitating. So why I love how you are saying, hey, you model the right way, acknowledging that is what they are saying, but then instead of saying, no, it's not like that, it's this, just acknowledge it and model the right way. And then the other one that I love that you said on don't adjust to their own word to make your own language, is you will not do that with any speaking language, right? You will, if the word is cat and your little one starts saying Gio, you're gonna stop. Like sometimes for pets, yeah, but normally you reinforce the right word. You say, "Oh, you are calling the cat Gio. That is a cat." And then I think that was part of that respect from that deaf community of, we honor that. Yeah, it is cat. It is cat. It's not whatever else the baby's saying. So I love that, Megan. um, let's gonna talk a little bit more into how sign language, even when they are not listening, when we do sign language, how sign language can be a powerful, magical tool to help kids to learn to listen in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
since they are very young, and that how that is going to build up as part of some of their skills as they grow up.
Yeah, we kind of touched on this a little bit ago. As parents, we dictate to our kiddos all the time. Go pick up the dog poop, go put your dish away, where's your shoe? We say all these things, but when we can just say, then they're like, oh, I'm going to go do the thing. And they have agency. They get to decide. We didn't tell them what to do. We just gave a little reminder, you know? And dog poop, we're just saying one word, a small cue, and they get agency and ownership and independence when they go do the thing. Now, if they resist and whatnot, we can, deal with that. But like I said, my foster son, we use weight a lot, because he's got some things going on. He's had some experiences, and he's antsy, and I'll just do this, and then he'll do this with both hands, and it helps him wait. So it helps him be successful. It hits him in a different way. It impacts him in a different way. And then, like I shared before, responsible. 2 R's. Responsible is one of his favorite signs, and when he does anything good, not anything, but most things, he'll be like, hey, and he says responsible. he misses, some of those sounds. So I can model the sound back. Oh, you are so responsible. What did you do? Show me. And he'll go, show me. And I'm like, wow, how did you do that? Because I want him to tune in to what he did, how he did, so he can repeat that behavior in the future for himself. So that's kind of what it is. My husband, my daughter, and I, we all use I love you. Um, when it's just when we're walking out the door, just a silent I love you. And, when my daughter is having, she's 9, when she's struggling with something, I don't need to fix her feelings. I just need to be present with her. And I just put an I love you over my heart, like I'm here. And it's that silentness just brings her down. We co-regulate. It's just so amazing. And when they do it to each other, my foster son and my daughter, I love you, or you're amazing, or whatever, it just is it impacts in a different way.
And I love that because baby sign language in the last 10 years is becoming a lot more popular. And I feel sometimes sad that moms don't have people like you. One of the things that I'm big on MomFit is we as moms are like the lead coach of the football team. And we need a team around us, our support system, to help us to win the marathon of motherhood. And I feel sometimes sad when I see that in their support system, they don't have a coach, a person like you in their support team to help them to connect all of these. Because what I'm seeing a lot is they do all of these amazing work 6 months to a year and a half, 2 years. And as soon as the babies start talking, they just stop sign language. That is fine.
Mhm.
And I believe that if they knew everything that you are sharing with us, how do signs can keep deep in the connection, can help them as they start going to school, can help them to handle sometimes something like bullying or a dangerous situation in a store, then I believe that a lot more moms will keep the momentum of using this as an additional language for their kids and their family, with the addition that we're going to be talking before we leave the program, that every time that your kid learn a different language, their brain gets stronger on the
Mhm.
language development. And I will tell you something, because my kid is bilingual. The threshold is 3 languages.
Yeah.
You learn the first one, it's challenging. You learn the second one, it's a little easier. You learn the third one, it's a little easier. After your kid move that third threshold, all the other languages are a lot easier, because that part of the brain is so strong, so developed, that can do it. So I love how you are doing there. It's gonna touch, because we open a loop that I want to make sure that we close. How sign language can help with siblings rivalry.
Okay. But really quickly,
Yes.
sign language, for the reason it's so powerful for, kiddos entering elementary school, is those B, D, Qs, and Ps. They get flipped in the kids' writing, right? But when we compare it with a B, a D, a P, and what is P? Oh, a P and a Q, right? Our kiddos don't get that confusion when they compare it with a sign. So it helps all the way when they're super learning how to write to getting, when they're learning more languages later. So just wanted to touch on that.
Thank you for
Um,
that.
Sibling rivalry. Okay. Yes. So I was on a coaching call just the other day, and the mom was talking about sibling rivalry, and she does have a little one. So this is even more exciting. She's actually going to take the class that I'm offering soon. But um, when we can invite, so if we want better behavior from our kiddos, we need to be thinking, how can we help them feel valuable and significant in our family team? That's why I love cooking so much with kiddos. They're helping nourish the family, right? So they're feeling valuable and significant. That's a big way to do that. But when this mom is starting to do baby sign with this little one, it helps when she can invite those older siblings in to help this little one too. They're feeling valuable and significant. If the little one is doing some approximation or something, even if the mom knows what it is, she can invite that older sibling in and say, or both older siblings in, and make them a team for that little one, right? The mom can say, or dad, what do you think he's trying to communicate? Do you think he wants, like, I don't know. Do you have an idea? And then they're like, oh, water, mom, he wants water. And so we can reinforce that behavior. You're so helpful. Wow. He needs you. We need you. And so, when kiddos fight and do sibling rivalry, they're really wanting attention most of the time. And when we can load up on positive attention, we reduce their need to seek negative attention in negative ways. So that's how it reduces sibling rivalry.
Thank you so much for that, Megan. Okay, I cannot believe that the show is getting to an end. I totally gonna bring you back to go deeper with you before the end. The year is over, but now I want to ask you a couple of things. The first one is, if you could only give one message to all these moms and new moms to be about baby sign language, what is that one message that you want to share with them and their families? And then, if they fall in love with you like I did, how they can reach out to you if they want to learn. I know that we have a super nice event coming on the 21st, so let's gonna talk a little bit about that and tell us how they can reach out to you, and what it will be one thing that you will share with them.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to your first invitation first. So I think I want to go back to modeling oopsies as opportunities, because if we get it wrong, it's okay. We're tuning in. That's the ultimate goal, you know? And our kiddos, when they tell us, no, you got it wrong, and we can correct ourselves with them, we are deepening our bond. Our kiddos know that we make mistakes. We're not perfect. We're modeling humility and accountability when we make mistakes. If they're thirsty and we're saying water or whatever, or hungry, oopsies is opportunities. So don't give up. Again, the ultimate goal is connection and deepening your bond. And sign just enhances all of that in so many profound ways. And then, again, oopsies is opportunities. Really, you don't have to put pressure on getting it right. I'll quickly just share, flashcards. Be very careful with those, because kids don't want to see signs on a card unless they do. Some kids dig it. Some kids love it. Most kids don't. And it's pressure. When we put pressure on our kids, they tap out. They're not interested anymore. So when we can really team with them and make it about communication, then we're much more successful with them. And just remember, our kiddos have to see it, hundreds of times. And that's okay, because it's about the connection. It's not a waste of time. They'll get there. Does that feel good?
Yeah, absolutely. Now tell us how they can. I know that we had it in the banner in the bottom,
Okay.
but let us know how about your
Yeah.
community and how they can reach out to you, and what you're
Right.
doing the 21st.
Okay, so I'm Meagan Ducan. My community on Facebook is Connected Kids Thrive Community. That's my parenting community where we talk about all these things and more, always dealing with communication, cooperation, and connection. That is what we talk about, and how to do it very respectfully with our kiddos to get them to team with us. I'm really, really proud of it. So follow me there on Facebook. And then on the 21st, I am hosting a Babysign class. It's free. Everyone's invited to come. We'll talk about some of this stuff, but we'll go deeper into some other things. And so I'm super thrilled about that also. And I invite everyone to attend and follow me for more parenting stuff, because this is the most important job in the world, and we don't have to get it right. What we do is enough, and we can do other things too to enhance our outcomes with our kids. So
Absolutely. So you know that, go on Facebook and reach out to Connected Kids Thrive Community and Meagan Duncan. And also make sure that you are follow me, Unicorn Mama Coach, in Instagram. And thank you so much, Meagan. This was lovely. I love everything that you said and how much wisdom and value you add to everybody involved. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. Please check out www.spanglishworld.ca for all the news and programming. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read
Mhm.
it, download it, and leave it.
Thank you.
Let's see. I think that Eduardo